Well, time now for our daily focus report, and we go to Ireland. Under the 8th Amendment of the Constitution, abortion is banned in nearly all circumstances. The only exception is if the mother's life is at risk. But today, the country holding a referendum on whether to uphold or repeal this law. Abortion is a criminal offense punishable by a maximum 14-year prison sentence. And every year, more than 3,500 women travel to Britain for abortions. Our correspondents Hervé Amaric and Enda Oluni report from Dublin.
On stage, comedy actress Tara Flynn tackles the issues of sex, motherhood and abortion. After several referendum campaigns in Ireland, it is still a risky subject. But to Tara, abortion is a very personal matter. 12 years ago, she had an unwanted pregnancy at the age of 37.
I knew nothing about abortion. I knew that you didn't talk about it here. That's what I knew. I couldn't tell my mum, I couldn't tell my own doctor because I didn't know what they would say. So it was a difficult time and I had to learn very quickly. And it's not easy to do here. But I managed to find some non-directive counselling. There are, of course, rogue crisis pregnancy agencies here, and you can be very unlucky. People will direct you or try to coerce you to remain pregnant. I was lucky I didn't find one of those. And I eventually booked a clinic in Utrecht in the Netherlands, and I flew there over and back the same day.
Tara Flynn joined the campaign for a yes vote in the referendum. She wants to make sure that thousands of Irish women every year no longer have to travel abroad for a termination or take abortion pills illegally imported.
Even if I am a radical person now or a controversial person, just because I've told the truth about something that happened to me that happens to so many people, 12 a day, even if I am, then it was worth it because that's worth more than continuing to lie.
In this North Dublin pub, campaigners have invited doctors who call for a yes vote.
The notion of abortion is a taboo. Not as much as it was. It's much more open and free now. It's also been quite liberating to see people talk about abortion, contraception and sex in Ireland openly and freely and without shame.
Many young people turned up for this massive rally in the centre of Dublin, calling for a no vote. They are determined to keep the 8th Amendment in the Irish Constitution.
This proposal to remove all protection from all unborn babies in our Constitution will result in abortion on demand.
Since 1983, the law gives equal protection to the mother and the unborn child, even in the so-called hard cases of rape or fatal fetal abnormality. To liberalise legislation, the Constitution must be amended.
For people like me and the organisation that has started these rallies, we want life to be protected from conception to natural death with no exception. But an awful lot of people in this country understand that the hard cases are not what is being targeted in the proposed referendum. What is going to be done is removal of all constitutional protection from all unborn babies, healthy and otherwise.
All the main party leaders call for a yes vote, but their grassroots are divided. This independent senator is firmly in the no camp.
Relatively very few Irish women choosing abortions. There's a lot of focus on those who travel, and yes, it's a tragedy, and yes, we need to do more. But when you consider that Britain, with its liberal abortion law right next door to us, has 4 times the rate of abortions, that tells you the difference that the law has made.
The 8th Amendment is also blamed for delayed medical interventions. The death of Savita Halappanavar, seen here at a Hindu festival, made clarifying the law a priority. The young dentist was admitted to a hospital in Galway, miscarrying and seriously ill. She died there days later, having been refused an abortion. The family claimed that medical staff were confused about the legal position. Vigils were held in Ireland for many days. Savita's death shocked the country and pushed many young women to join the Yes campaign.
I think the death of Savita was a wake-up call for a lot of people. It was really tragic. I think a lot of people didn't realise how problematic the 8th Amendment was until we saw that play out before our eyes.
There has been a dishonesty by the yes side to pretend that in cases like Savita's it was because of the law. Savita died because doctors failed to identify her symptoms and to manage her sepsis properly. And that could happen in countries that allow abortion as well.
The two sides have campaigned hard, hoping to convince a sizable group of undecided voters.
I'm not clear what I'm going to vote. I keep away from it because it's a very hard subject to get involved in.
Would the abortion issue be settled once and for all?
Well, I think at a minimum it's going to settle the question of abortion rights, if we can call them that, in the Irish state for a generation or so. If the referendum is passed, then it is probable that the government will introduce legislation that will liberalise the abortion laws.
Probable, but not certain. The process is likely to be slow. Very few countries have struggled to settle this emotive question as much as Ireland has.